Yo, listen, my favorite part about this song coming out is my boy Aubrey was taking over the Dodger Stadium,
bro.
Right? And while he's out with another girl, he's like, "Yo, that girl be a cute." The man's a demon.
Toxic masculinity.
Just toxic. All right, let's start the episode properly. Hey, what's going on? Welcome back to the Men on the Internet's podcast.
He had to muster his whole energy to say that.
How hard is this for you to push that out right now?
It's lit right now. I'm here. I'm on 1,000.
Whoa.
My name is Kerbin. Right there, it's
Sunil.
in the pink shorts. Sunil, how's India doing today?
India is fresh.
Fresh. I saw a little video. I
What'd you see?
Send it to you the other day, but Instagram blocked me.
What?
From sending it. They said it was copyright infringement. I said, in the DMs?
Wow.
Shoot. So that means that other people ain't sending my nudes out, so that's good. But
You got your nudes copyrighted?
You infringing something.
Wow.
you gotta do it. I'm pretty sure Prince did it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Pretty sure.
So I tried to send him a video. So there's these guys. They was like in a scene in an Indian movie, and so they was like running down a hill or something, and then they all formed together, combined together.
Oh yeah.
Turned into this like thingamajig.
Yeah, that's from Bahubali too.
You know the movie.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, no, my brother
That's
did
the
that
second one.
That's the second
Bahubali 2, yeah.
Bahubali 2.
Yep.
Why don't you say the 2 in the correct language?
Because that's how the movie it said Bahubali and then number 2.
Oh, okay. What's 2 in the language you speak?
Though.
Oh, nah, 2 is cool.
You know the national language in India is English, right?
I don't even know about that.
Now you do.
You don't know about Cyrano.
I know about Sriracha.
Cyrano?
That's two different things.
Cross is over here.
What's going on?
Tell me about the border. How's it going?
I don't know. I'm never there. But you want
I was trying to get him to give us an update about what's going on in Cuba right now, but
And
he telling me he don't know nothing about
I'm
that
not
either.
doing
You know
what
what?
you
No,
want
no,
from
no.
me.
Here's something that's funny. It's not really funny, but it actually reminds me of something Chris said.
Go ahead.
All right, so back when we was six podcasts ago. All right, one time we was talking, me and Chris and a couple of other people that was there. Chris was like, you know what America got? America whack as hell, bro. All they got here is freedom.
What?
That's all. You remember that, Chris?
No,
You don't
because
remember?
you're pulling it out of your butthole.
No,
What do you want, bro?
You legitimately said that. Like, I'm being 100% serious.
Go ahead.
We were at Carmelo and Rashawn's, and we were talking about America, the state of America, and you were like, "All we got here is freedom." You don't remember saying that?
No, because you just made that up.
No. I could.
All right, we're gonna keep moving.
Hold on.
Give me the context.
Damn, we was talking about the fact that like America is systemically racist, and it's a bad country. You remember? I was actually talking to you like it was about the point where we were all saying like you could say anything bad about America, but you can't say anything good about it. And then you said, "Yeah, America's lame. All we got here is freedom." You said it. Mm-hmm. Okay,
But it was sarcasm.
I'm sure it was sarcasm.
okay.
He don't want to put that context on it.
It wasn't. He said it in a very serious way, and we had a very serious conversation about it. But either way, let's say it was sarcasm. I was scrolling on Twitter this morning, and it said, the people of Cuba are looking for freedom.
They have, man.
And I wanted to just write them and say, yo, Chris says freedom sucks anyways.
I don't understand where
He
the
trying to
fuck
put that
this is
evil
coming
on
from.
He trying to put that evil on you right now.
First of all, I don't remember saying
He
it.
trying to put that
Second
evil
of all,
on you, Chris.
If he can't tell me the context, how the fuck am I going to be able to defend myself?
Kelby would
No,
be the
you
one that be
didn't.
throwing people under the bus that way.
But we said it. We were having a podcast. Whatever.
Pull it up.
Where the
trying to find
receipts?
it. I was
There it
trying-
is, Chris. Ask him where the receipts.
was-
I might have
podcast,
time. I might have the Soldier Boy time to go find it.
Ooh.
You better nap on that time because you need some rest, my friend.
Yo, you don't think I'm A1 steak sauce? Right
No,
now?
I think you need to
Who
take a nap.
uses A1 steak sauce anymore?
All right, man. Moving right along.
That's like that sriracha poet
So-
that you were talking about too.
Yo, that's really offensive to the French people.
Oh, word?
Isn't it, Todd? Thank you. Look at it. Look at his face, red.
Who red?
For the boys.
You would say Indian person is red.
Yeah, you got blood circulating through your face.
Racism still exists.
Yes. Okay, let's talk about racism really quick. So Kamala Harris says.
Segue. I see what you did there.
All right, so Kamala Harris says.
You said it was Kamala. Which one?
Damn it. KH says. Mrs. Emhoff or whatever.
Whatever. Madame Vice President.
Yeah. She says. It is very near impossible for people in rural cities to have access to a copy machines.
Oh my gosh.
Who here has lived in a rural city? I mean, you from Bakersfield. It's pretty much the west of Chirac.
Wow. That don't make it rural though.
Oh, okay, you might be right. Cora, you never live in a rural city?
Define rural. Like how?
I lived in a place called Vineland before.
That's rural as hell.
Yeah.
Right. I don't even know what state that's in.
Jersey.
Oh, that's rural. Yeah. You had grass?
Sometimes.
Yeah, because the op shot it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Is this facts or fiction? That might be a new segment on the show. Facts or fiction? Things that people say. So
every city got a library. Every library got a copy machine.
Okay,
You got
now
a copy machine.
Might a rural city have a library? I don't know. There's some cities where the neighbor is like 2 miles away.
That's fair.
So here's my thing when it comes to
But
any
they
of this
all
stuff.
got a FedEx place.
All right, so what have the Amish been doing this whole time voting?
Damn. Boy came up. He came up from the parking lot shooting.
I'm saying, like,
Steph
what
Curry
are we
with the
talking
shot,
about?
boy.
Like, for some reason, I don't ever hear about an Amish person saying they don't have access to vote. I don't hear anybody being like the Amish people aren't represented in this country.
Well, they're not gonna tweet you, bro.
True, but
probably
I'm
sending
saying,
letters
like,
nobody's
all
reading.
of these things. So the Amish have gone out of their way to be like, we're not using any type of technology. Yet somehow they're still voting. So I don't know how rural you got to be to have no access to anything when the Amish are choosing not to have access to anything and they're still able to vote.
Now, here's the one thing that I love the most. I think that this ties in back to when AOC said that people are doing crimes for bread.
Yup.
Now, something I saw on Instagram just today. Young guy, rest in peace, brother, who was on Instagram Live and got shot 16 times. Y'all see that? Y'all saw that?
I try to stay away from
How far
those
back
videos.
was that?
How far back?
Yeah,
He was
how
in
long
his
ago
car.
was it? No. How long ago was it?
It just happened.
It just happened?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I didn't see it.
And there was no mention of bread while the Instagram Live was happening.
He might have been talking about that bread.
All right, man. You got it.
That seems...
He might have been talking about loaves.
Oh,
he
no.
might have even thrown in some cheese.
You might be a little
that
too
cheddar.
pink. You might be a little bit too pink to be safe. Might have should have stayed in the sun a little bit. For that one. I don't want to go down the Wendy Williams path of speaking poorly on people that have passed, but I think that we got to stop doing this generalization thing. So I'm going to ask everybody in the room, fact or fiction. Kamala Harris says people in rural areas do not have access to printers and copy machines. I say partial facts.
Partial
So
facts.
you gonna say fact or fiction and then make up a way of being halfway in and halfway out?
All right, fine. I'll say fiction.
I'm gonna say fiction.
You are the Democratic Party right now. Let's figure out a way.
I'm a
to be
registered Democrat.
Good. I could tell because you just figured out a way to be in the middle of both. So you're not like, nah, I didn't say yeah. Nah, I didn't say no.
Just needs a little bit more context. All right, so what you say, Chris?
I say fiction because there's UPS and FedEx stores everywhere.
Even in the farmland areas?
They ship everywhere. If they ship you a package, there's got to be a whatever center close by.
The man has a point to make.
And
yes,
Sorry, I didn't mean to overstep. They can also deliver a copy machine to them.
Well, copy machines are not free.
I mean, still.
People in rural cities probably only have $40.
If you want to keep your business
performing. Let's generalize much, huh?
Well, I gave them more than I expected to give them.
So
okay.
I say fiction. Okay. And the reason being, do rural areas have no access to smartphones?
Yikes. I think they do. I be seeing them on TikTok.
Absolutely.
I seen the Verizon map.
So I know that there's free apps on your phone where you could get a scanner on it, and you could scan, email, copy, whatever you want from an iPhone, from even your bougie phone that don't work with Apple products.
Relax.
Right?
Relax.
Even your phone can download an app to be able to scan a picture, send it as a fax, send it as whatever.
Do you have an iPhone? Okay. You're still
So I'm so confused by what you're doing right now.
Well, here's why I said, well, I had to ask him because me and him used to be the brothers in the office. I mean, I ain't had an iPhone, you know. So when I saw the case, I was a little confused. I almost had to kick him out.
Wow.
But so the reason why I say needs more context is because I can see a world where somebody who's 10 miles away from the store doesn't have easy access to a printer, especially today, because how many people are printing things, right? So that's the reason why I say I could see the angle. But however, the reason why I'm more leaning towards false is because people vote once every 2 to 4 years. You could prepare yourself for a nice journey into the city on the back of a horse to go print out your ID or whatever you got to do. That's just why I say needs more context, but at the same time, I disagree. You see my point?
No. The place that they got their ID from has a copy machine.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying.
That's what he's saying. He's agreeing with you.
I agree.
But then you also said you also don't agree.
No, I'm saying that I can see why it's difficult for them to have easy access to a printer or a copy machine. Let's say that they're really in the rurals, you know, where they're growing things for miles and miles. And they got to, you know, go super far to get into the city to get it. I understand. But at the same time, I'm just saying you're not voting every single day. So to say that just means like, oh, well, they can't vote on Tuesday. Like, no, they can vote in November in 2 years. You see what I'm saying? Like, you just have to prepare yourself for it.
What I thought was super funny about what Kamala was saying is she's talking about these rural areas, but the rural areas usually tend to lean the opposite party of her.
Yes.
So for her to be like, I'm worried about this.
See, she loves everyone.
Yeah, but that just didn't make sense to me. I'm like, oh, now all of a sudden you care about the rural vote? This is for rural people? I'm pretty sure these rural people are going to be like, you know what? We've been doing all right.
Well, I mean, they're trying to turn Texas blue, aren't they?
They are trying to
That's
turn Texas
the
blue.
rural state, them in Alabama.
I think they mostly talk about Georgia, right?
Oh, Georgia, that's right. The people of Powder Springs. You don't even know about that. No. We know. Sierra know. All right. Moving right along.
Please do. Because that was just you talking to yourself for 2 seconds there.
Happy Lil' Kim Day. It's the Queen's birthday today.
Shout out to her.
Yeah.
Wow.
Do you want to say something else?
No, I'm just saying Happy Lil' Kim Day.
All right. Shout out Lil' Kim. I loved her hair. Like the recent one, the new trend that she was trying.
Who you think wins on a versus of Lil' Kim versus Nicki? Audience doesn't matter. Let's say audience knows both people.
Well, as a not fan of really either one of them, I would say that off the mathematics,
Ooh.
Nicki probably would win. just because she's got way more really, really, really big songs.
I'd agree.
But Nicki at the same time too is like, I'm gonna pick my words wisely here. She likes to partner with people to get the big jams off. But I don't know too many Nicki alone songs. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
She's kind of like female Future. Like Future got a couple joints by himself, but he really needs like I got to partner with somebody to make this work. So I think if we was talking about like who got the jams all by themselves, then Kim is gonna have to slide on through.
You think so? Because Lil Kim kind of was the same way, right? She always had Junior Mafia. She always had Biggie. She always had somebody from Bad Boy was on these songs as well.
Maybe I'm thinking about it with rose-colored tinted glasses on. I hope this never happens.
Oh, there's no shot. I don't think they'd ever put generations like that against each other.
I wouldn't even want to watch it. Well, they did recently. Soulja Boy with Bow Wow. Those are two different generations.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
How?
Bow Wow was making songs in '96.
Okay, but we're talking about age-wise.
Yeah, so
They're the same age.
yeah, Nicki's 50.
No, she's not. Yo,
That don't track.
the Nicki,
That don't track.
the Nicki crew about to go after you. His name is Kelby. His Kelby Joseph. His socials
relax.
His socials will be at the bottom of this
I
podcast.
love you, Nick.
Yo,
All right, so something was happening this week, and I'm just trying to remember what it was. Did we talk about Cardi B's pregnant again? And she said that she's not coming out with another album until she gets her boobs done and she learns how to play spades and this, that, and the third and all that stuff.
she getting her boobs done again?
Yeah, after the baby.
Interesting.
So,
Oh, you just went after Nicki. Now you gonna go after Cardi?
no, I'm not going to go after Cardi. I'm going to ask you guys a question as men in a room.
All right.
Talking as men.
Okay.
On the internet.
That's the only way I know how to talk.
Locker room conversation.
All right.
Go ahead.
Do you guys encourage that, transformations? Do you even feel like, oh, if my girl got that, she'd be fine as hell? Like,
Those thoughts never have crossed my mind.
never, right? What about you?
No,
Never thought about
unless it's for like legit medical reasons. Like there are women who have like large breasts and it's like a lot on their back.
Yes. Well, that's
Just
different.
a lot for them.
That's just taking
That's
a couple
health reasons. We're talking
lessons
strictly
away.
cosmetic.
Strictly cosmetic.
Superficial.
Strictly cosmetic. A little tummy tug, a little boob tuck, or whatever they
Not
do.
necessary.
Little eyelash lid removal.
How do you tuck
I don't
a
know.
boob?
I don't even know
Where's
what
the
to
science?
be. I don't even know what to be. So, would you be against it?
If that's really what somebody wanted, I mean, go for it. Who am I to say, yo, don't do
Her
it?
man. Her man. That's who you are.
Okay, but no.
The man of the woman.
Also, no. Who am I to say?
I mean, I would try to figure out what the reasons are. Like, why do you feel?
BBLs are $9.99 right now.
I would want to know, what makes you feel like you need this right
How
now?
you know the price?
One,
I typed in men BB.
right. He said, "Can I get this?"
I mean, y'all do financing.
I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's her body. She could do what she wants with it, but I would hope that who you trying to look good for, one, and two,
She obviously wants to look good for you.
Well, I mean, then
course.
why?
And for herself,
But
too.
if she already,
And for herself.
if I already feel like she looks great, and I tell her that all the time, why you still need to do it?
Maybe she's got a little Aisha Curry in her, and she wants other men to compliment her too.
Then we have a problem.
Oh snap! Who you fighting, her or the other guys?
I ain't finding nobody.
Wait. Oh, good topic. So, would you ever fight somebody for your girl, like actual fight?
Segway.
In my younger years when I was immature, yeah. Now, nah.
Ever? You would never
Fight a dude for my girl.
for your girl.
What do you mean by fight? Like he did something to her?
Like to win her or to defend her?
Not to win her. No, not a competition.
Of course, to defend her. If some dude hit her or something, it's on.
Let's not take it to 0, but let's not take it to 10.
So what? But give me
So,
a
so
scenario.
let's go like 5. Okay, like. All right, cool. She's at her job, and this guy he roasted her at lunch one good time. But he roasts everybody, but he got her real good, call her bald headed. funky.
Who you dating, bro?
Her boyfriend fat and ugly, all that. Like, and then she went home crying, like, "Oh, Chanel, gay, call me bald headed." Like and then she said, "You got to pull up to the job, catch him too
She
good."
tell you got to pull up to the job.
Yeah, she can't do it herself.
Oh no.
She tells Chanel, you got to go over there and Dustin Poirier him, a couple times, break his ankle and whatever.
Are you doing this in you?
Look at you knowing some US. Wow. Kelby knows sports.
I told y'all I came to pod.
Kelby knows sports. Kelby knows sports. So here's my thing. I think the crime should be reciprocated with the punishment. So if the crime was with words, the punishment's gonna come with words as well.
Like, yo, you got doo-doo sauce. Sick burn.
Nah, Chris, you gonna get broken up with.
Yeah. So I would go and have a conversation with that gentleman and be like, look, with all due respect, this, whatever you said to my girl, you need to stop saying things like that.
You need to stop, sir.
All right?
The first thing that got me was he said, with all due respect.
Because,
he came to his girlfriend super disrespectful.
Yeah.
You better pull up. You need to stop, sir.
With all due respect.
And his shirt said, my girl is making me do this. Please don't do anything to me.
Just in case it's about to get mad disrespectful, let me preface by saying with all due respect. Because my tongue can be sharp. And I'm gonna be real friendly initially just to see what he's about. You just can't come hot. Cause then you looking for it, then it's gonna escalate to something.
I love that. So I would just say, girl, you better find some jokes.
Wow.
You want me to go to your job.
And that's why Kelby is forever single.
Hot boy life.
Hot boy
City
life.
boys.
That's funny.
So Chris, you wouldn't go to the job and say, my girl, listen, you was making fun of my girl at lunchtime in the lunchroom. Everybody heard it. She's not bald, bro. Hey, could you apologize? You wouldn't say that?
That's an HR thing. At work is an HR thing.
The HR take care of that.
You need to get HR involved.
They handle all that.
I'll help you dial the number.
Do you want to write a letter?
Yeah. What you need, some more support?
Strongly worded letter.
I will proofread whatever it is that you type out. Email to HR.
He was making fun of me. Now he's talking about HR. That's a human resources thing.
Yeah, look.
I demand you reprimand him.
I ain't trying to make you lose your job. Because then if I come over there and then we start getting physical, all that kind of stuff, it's going to reflect poorly on my girl.
Oh, this boy is mature.
He knows.
Would you go to the job? Nah, hell no. I know he wouldn't.
No thanks.
Yeah, no. I probably, because here's the thing. Everybody's a sucker who's defending someone else.
That's not true.
Like in most cases.
That's not true at all.
No, just listen. As a teenager, right? Whenever you get into a scuffle with somebody and then somebody else has to come and help you, the first thing the other kids say is what? He need to get his little mom. He need to get his older brother. He need to get right. It's always a weak look. It makes you look weak, right?
Oh,
so,
you saying the person that's getting defended is a sucker?
They're not a sucker, but they look like one.
Oh, okay.
Like,
Because I thought I heard you say the person that's defending the person is a sucker.
No.
The person who needs the defending.
Correct.
They're the ones who people are like, he had to go call his friend to come over. Like,
Yeah, but if it's a man talking to a woman, I would expect a man need to get involved. Another man get involved.
Right. But then, what if you know how some girls be over exaggerating? Like they just be coming home like, he said, blah, blah, blah. And then you go to work and you say, yo, bro, let me just holler at you real quick. You say my girlfriend was bald headed. And then he come out and he said, all I just said was her track was showing.
Mm-hmm. And if I knew my girl well, and I knew that was a very high possibility, I'd be like, I got you, dude.
You want to go to lunch?
I got you, dude.
He said, no, you're right, bro.
I appreciate you clearing that up. This is exactly why I started out with all due respect. This is exactly why I started out with all due respect. Feel me? With all due respect. Did you call my girl bald-headed? Oh,
she's got
you know
7 inches.
I told her in the morning too that her track was showing. She didn't listen.
I was trying to tell her, bro.
I'm with you, my dude.
What you doing after work, bro? You want to go kick it or what?
Yeah, I'd have a tough time. I'd have a tough time defending some girl that I'm with.
Yeah, but you're not a violent person initially.
I used to be as a kid. Up until I was about 18, I was a pretty violent person, and then I stopped because my knees was hurting.
At 18,
and then
old age, man.
My knees and my back started hurting, and then I started complaining about it. So everybody knew where to hit me.
Jeez.
They was like, "Yo, get his knees." So I had to stop.
Why was your knee so bad?
McDonald's.
Damn.
Oh, you trying to talk about there's too much weight on the knees?
No, there was too much. I was trying to run and stuff. My knees was over. Sit down. Stop eating burgers.
Wow.
Yeah, so I had all different types of pains and stuff. So once people knew where to hit me and where to target, I was like, it's a wrap for me.
Why are you getting into so many fights with people that know you like that?
Well, how else are they supposed to fight me? You think strangers are gonna beat me up?
I'm saying, like, why are you getting? Yeah, no, I'm. Whenever I got, most of my fights have been with people that I don't know.
Oh no, my fights have been with people I know. I just know how to anger them. So
I need to build a relationship with this person.
Yeah. Let me get really close to you so you could become my enemy.
Wait. Y'all never fought with your like good friends?
Not to a point where they need to be. They're gonna be taking shots at my weaknesses that they know about.
Man, what kind of men are you guys?
Clearly better friends than you are with your friends.
No, you're supposed to have fought your good friends at least once in life.
Physical fist fight?
It may not have been a fist fight, but maybe
well, then they're going after your knees. What is that?
Greco-Roman. You ain't never really, y'all never really like fought one of your friends?
Verbally, never physically.
Y'all must have been raised different.
That's that Florida living right there.
I've gotten into a fist fight with one friend my whole life.
Oh, okay. This guy was lying. What happened?
One friend.
What was the situation?
It's some BS.
Over a girl?
Never.
Really?
Ain't me and one of my friends ever fighting over a girl.
It typically is about girls.
Well, that's your friends.
No, not me. I've never fought over a girl.
Yeah. I ain't fighting no dudes over a girl. That's the lowest level of fight.
Yeah, Sydney will be too cool. It's typically like the dumbest argument. I remember one time I got in an argument with Redman over Logic, the rapper.
Yeah, that'll start it.
I was like, not even the production software?
No. I was in the kitchen. I was making everybody some food, so I could have poisoned them. And I was in the kitchen, and he played some song on the TV, and I was like, "Oh snap! Is this a new J. Cole song?" Man, that dude popped right on up. Does it sound like J. Cole? I was like, "Damn, what?" And so I started getting upset too. I was like, "You don't understand. Before I was 18, I used to beat people with metal sticks." So,
what in the Haitian news is going on over here? What is a metal stick? Isn't that a rod?
Yeah.
They don't have rods in Haiti. They have metal sticks.
Whatever you call it. Pieces of vacuums. I don't know.
You mean a baseball bat?
You said pieces of vacuums?
Yeah. I had it right there in my backpack. Just ready to just wail on people.
Metal stick.
Yeah, metal stick. I didn't know what it was a part of, but I knew it was metal and it was a stick.
You talking about a golf club?
Nah, it was just like a random metal stick. Like the end of the tripod. Like just one of them things. So he went off on me. I went off on him. Bree was like, "What are you guys arguing about?" I was like, "I just asked the question," and he went crazy on me. And then at like 2 minutes later, I was like, "All right, for sure, let's eat." Or
you got swung?
Let me not tell the story, but I did one time get physical with Redman.
Wow.
In college,
Greco-Roman style.
Low key, yeah, kind of. I put him in a certain hole. Let me not even tell because it's so
sounds terrible, by the way.
Nah, sometimes, you know what I mean? As young guys, like your testosterone's flying all over the place. Everybody's
upset.
But
my first reaction isn't let's Greco-Roman wrestle.
But that's let's move on.
Let me figure out a way to hold you and consider this fighting.
You don't like being held?
Huh?
You don't like being held?
Not when I'm angry with my friends.
Oh, okay. Well, so maybe I'm built different.
Obviously.
Clear your throat, bro. What you doing?
We sounded like Scooby-Doo right now.
Yeah, let me drink my tea. Go ahead and bring me up with the... Oh, all right. I'm going to tell you guys what happened. So I was walking down the street. Thank you. Yesterday. And I'm not gonna tell you where, but it wasn't in California, and it's in a state that like most people don't think about until they go there.
Utah.
It wasn't Utah. And
Idaho.
Are you guessing, bro? He said he's not going
New
to
Mexico.
say.
I feel like we need context to the story.
That was the loudest slurp I ever.
He went straight into the mic.
He's like,
you know, he went this way and then he just went right into the mic.
I'm not gonna turn the stage.
I'm here, man. So
Anyway.
I was walking down the street, and this guy in a tan Toyota minivan stops. Right, he's driving, but he stops. And I'm sorry, I'm gonna say a word that you guys may not like, but he pulls his window down and he goes, "Nigger!" And then just like tries to drive off super fast, but then is at a red light.
Oh man! So this dude wants to break social codes, but won't break the speed limit. He won't break no legal laws. Hey, I'll do a hate crime, but I ain't gonna run this red light.
You ever do something mean and then have to sit there and think about what you just did?
You do know the red light is just like a couple $100 ticket. What you just said to me is 5 years in jail. But it's okay. Keep going.
So I keep walking, and I hear him like giggling, but then I saw he's like, "Oh wait, that black guy is still right there." So I'm walking, trying to figure out like, does he have a gun? Because I had 90 things go through my brain. I was like, do I go over there and tell him I'm gonna pray for him? Do I go over there and tell him I'm gonna shoot him? Do I go over there and just punch him in the face? Do I steal his license plate? I didn't really know what to do. But the first thing that came in my head was like, if I get too close, some of these country bumpkin dudes, they just be having a rifle in there, and they could.
That's facts.
They could, let me not say the name, but the dude that was jogging, like they could just be like, yo, pah, out of nowhere. So I was like, I need to be real wise about what I do. But I was already not in the best mood in the world. So the fact that he said that to me, I really was like, bro, I will show you what that is.
Absolutely, man. You walking out of state? Like, dang. You went to visit somebody and they're making you walk down the street?
Now we parked and then we was walking to the establishment.
Okay. So this whole story, you kind of telling it like you're all alone.
Take a stroll down the street.
We were walking towards.
So you're not alone in the situation.
No, I wasn't by myself.
He was trying to act like he was all the way alone.
No. And ain't nothing hard here.
Here come the context.
Ain't nothing hard here. I didn't do anything hard. I ain't cool like that. But I was definitely when these kind of things happen, I feel like the world around you kind of melt away. Like, I was in my own head. Like, the other person was there, but it's funny because they're not black. So to them, they kind of like gave me an awkward smile, and was like, people who smile, who like giggle at funerals.
Like they're uncomfortable.
Yeah, like they're super uncomfortable, and they don't know what to say.
It's just a knee-jerk reaction.
Yeah, exactly. So they were there, and they were just like, and my stroll started slowing down because I really was a little bit like, is this person gonna shoot me? And what should I do and all that. So I really wasn't so super paying attention to what they were doing, especially I noticed that they were like side smiling. And so that red light was long as hell.
Dang.
Super long. Like I got to the point where the guy stopped giggling and was looking at me, and I could tell his face was like, I hope that guy does not have a gun. And in my head, I was like, I hope that guy does not have a gun. So it's I hope they don't have a gun showdown. And when that red light went off, it was like in slow motion. Typically, if I was him, I would have tried to peel off and go fast.
Right, left,
yeah, but you know that this dude definitely abides by the speed limit, so he was looking both ways, creeping to make sure that there's. He wanted to make sure that there's no side, because it was probably, let's be honest, it was probably an unprotected turn. They don't have. If we talking about rural in areas where they scream with this
unprotected turn.
It means it doesn't have the arrow.
It took me 3 times to get my license.
It means the one that doesn't have the arrow, it has the blinking light, so you have to wait for oncoming traffic to come to be able to. So
that boy passed that tab.
Yeah, we out here in these streets.
I ain't know not a thing.
Driving with no tickets.
You ain't had a ticket ever?
Right here.
Come on, bro. Of course I've had tickets.
I was about to say, damn. I would have loved you.
Of course, I've had tickets, but
You whack.
anyway, wow.
Just kidding. Okay, so when the light turned green, he kind of was looking at me, still stayed foot on the brake, and then slowly. And for a second there, I was like, I know I'm in a little country place, but I was like, I know I've seen some other black people around here. So I get to the inside the restaurant, and this is the first thing that popped into my mind. I look at the menu, and you know what the menu said? Try
Whites
our
only?
world famous fried chicken and waffles.
For dessert, special watermelon.
I went to IKEA today too. I had it.
Yo, that's terrible. I'm sorry you had to go through that, Kelby.
And in my head, I was like, damn it, man, I really want to try this fried chicken.
Oh, it's the Dave Chappelle joke.
But
It's the Dave Chappelle joke.
they're going to know I'm black. So then I was like,
That was the dead giveaway. When they see me order this, it's gonna be so obvious that I'm like,
Maybe I could fit in if I don't order this chicken.
yeah.
Maybe they won't notice the pigmentation of my skin.
they'll guess I'm Dominican.
man, the inside of my head was racing because I was like, the rest of the stuff on this menu look kind of whack, but this fried chicken. And I'm looking around. I saw one black guy walk in, but guess what? His arm was broken. So I was like, damn it, the Toyota guy got the broken arm. Black guy. He definitely had a gun. Oh, no. So I was a little bit worried there. There was another black guy there. His arm was broken. The guy's, so what do you want? I was like, how's the barbecue chicken panini? And he was like, oh, pretty good. I was like, well, you guys got some noodles, right? Some noodles. He was like, the noodles.
He said, we know your kind around here.
Yeah, he started squinting at me. I started
like-
squinting back at him.
He's all pointing.
So my friend said, you know it's good here. the fried chicken and waffles.
He's like, it's world famous.
The guy who's working there, he's like, dude, everybody orders that. I was like, I don't want to be the one that orders that.
Yeah.
So I said it under my breath because I really wanted it. I was like, yo, let me get the chicken and waffles. He was like, what'd you say? I said, damn it. I want the fried chicken and waffles. He was like, say that again. I want the fried chicken and waffles, man. Get in the back there and stop making the fried chicken and waffles. So luckily, as soon as he arrived with my fried chicken and waffles, I turned my head and I saw a full-colored, full-bodied, able guy working in the kitchen. And all of a sudden, I felt okay again. That's all it took. I saw a black guy, and he wasn't like Obama mixed. He was like a black guy with like my kind of hair, you know. And I was like, okay, cool.
All his phalanges were working.
Everything was working fine. He had oily skin and everything. I was like, okay, all right, for sure.
Yeah, hairnet on?
Say it again?
You have a hairnet on?
Yeah, nah. They didn't have no form of protection over there. They didn't wear no doggone masks. They didn't wear no hairnets. They had 3 black people. And trust me, I was hanging out with a white friend. And I saw 2 black ladies there. And they was just like, oh, yaka.
What are you doing?
yeah. They're like, what?
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So I'm not black, if you didn't know. But I do love fried chicken. But, so no, to be serious. So in a situation like that, right? How should your white friend have acted?
Well, I'll tell you what. I think there's multiple ways to look at it. First off, I do recognize that they try to play it off. You know, even 10 minutes later, they were very like trying to like make little jokes about it and whatever. And I think that there are some people who try to take that path of like, dude, it's no big deal, keep it pushing and all that kind of stuff. And to be honest with you, that kind of thing hasn't happened to me in a while. I remember like maybe 2016, 2017, my former neighbor, his kid came up to me and like one time he like freaked out at me and I was like, whoa, what's happening? And he turned to his dad full on and was just like, I wrote about it on my Facebook. He was like, he said something like, I'm scared of niggers, something like that. And I was like, damn, this is like a 2-year-old, 3-year-old kid that said that. And even then, it didn't hit me that hard. But this one situation, for some reason, I don't really know why. I just felt, whoa, you know? And so at the moment, what I did not really want was for my friend to just try and play it off and just be like, oh, no big deal, right? 'Cause like,
you did want that or you didn't want that?
I did not want that.
Okay.
I'd rather they had just not say anything. But I think maybe it's because in my head I was very like scared that it might get violent,
Right.
you know, because I don't know if y'all ever like talk to were interested in somebody and then had to say like, I wonder if they like Mexican guys or I wonder if they like Indian guys. Have you ever thought that?
Probably.
Right. Hey, well, I don't know. For Chris, it's been forever. But have you ever thought that? Like, oh, I wonder if they like Mexican guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Like, that's like a constant thing that's always in my head. Like, but in every situation. Like, I wonder if they're okay with black people here. Or I wonder if they're interested in black people. Like, that always plays in my head. So when I go to this place, the first thing I did was try and find some black people to look at and feel like, okay, cool. Y'all here, I'm here, we're good. If anything happens, y'all got me, I got y'all, we're good. And then, but, you know, slowly, the more like comfortable you feel, the more you're like, okay, I don't need other people around me. Everybody here feels cool. But then you got a Toyota van guy come and yell at you. Then it's like my eyes is looking all over the place for other black people. And if I can't find y'all, I'm scared now. Because it's like, you know.
So you're saying that even before the van situation, you already feeling like in any situation you go into, you're worried about them not being comfortable with you.
Oh yeah. Listen, if I'm not going to New York, South Florida, Georgia, California, Texas, some parts, I'm scared. Like, I'm not shaking in my boots scared, but I'm already like,
you're aware.
Yeah, I'm already like, I don't know what's about to happen here, right? I remember I went to Oklahoma City one time, and the guy who drove my car, like somebody paid for it, and it was a very nice car. As soon as I opened the door and there was an Indian guy, I was like, okay. You know, because in my head, I was like, I'm going to Oklahoma. I know they probably got 4 black people there. When I got there and that Indian guy opened my door, I was so relieved. I was like, whew, you're here, I'm here, I'm okay. Because he was like a dark-skinned Indian guy. And I felt super comfortable. And then once I got to the hotel, and then I saw a couple other black people, I saw a couple other Indian people, and he told me where everybody was, because Oklahoma City is like built in 4s. Mm-hmm. So it's like the Indian people live there, the white people live there, the black people live there, the Mexican people live there. Boom. So he was like, if you ever feel like you need to go somewhere, these are the places that you need to go. And once he told me that, I was like, cool. Because I'm not scared, but I just don't know. Like, I just don't know what to anticipate.
So do you feel, does it need to be other black people or just other minorities?
Listen, the key, the preferred would be a black person. However, if a black person is not available at the time, somebody else, a minority, like Indian person, or like I would say like a Filipino person, somebody like that. I'm like, okay, you're here, we're all good, you know. But there are some minorities that I don't, not to say I don't feel comfortable around, but whenever I need that like quick validation of like, you're here, I'm here, sometimes it doesn't work. So that's why it's like another black person is good enough, because another black person got the same thing going on in their head.
What if it's Candace Owens?
She It don't matter.
So that's interesting because I don't know if you saw, there was an interview recently in the last few days with Mark Lamont Hill and some white lady. I forgot the lady's name, but she asked Mark Lamont Hill, "Do you feel like all white people are racist?" And his answer was yes. And so initially, obviously, there was a visceral reaction by maybe most people that aren't black, I would say. But then hearing you tell this story right now, it kind of seems like maybe you're not necessarily thinking that all white people are racist, but it seems like the default is assume that they are, and move accordingly based off of that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. You don't want to move in a certain way where you're not prepared for whatever's coming your way. So what I mean by that is y'all got to prove to me if we good, we good, right? Like, your stomping grounds, your territory. But I've been in enough places and enough situations like this where it's like, okay, I don't know who's here. And even coming from Florida, where the more north you get, the more sus it gets. He knows. Yeah. So the more the more north you get, the more they're like, in the South, in South Florida, they'll ask you what hood you're from. In North Florida, they'll say, who let you around these parts? Right? They start the language, like they asking you the same question, but they asking it in a different way. So for me, it's like, it's not necessarily that I'm saying like, oh, everybody is, but I gotta act that way for my safety. Because I don't know who's who and who's doing what. Once I feel comfortable and I feel like y'all not gonna do nothing to me, then cool. I'll let you guys, I'll operate that way.
Do you feel like it's a race thing, or is it just because?
No, they're not calling me cutie.
Well, what I'm saying is, obviously, in that situation, the dude's a blatant racist, and I would understand why. Clearly, you're gonna be on your P's and Q's when it's that blatant. You know what I mean?
Sure.
But so when taking it back to the Mark Lamont Hill thing, there was some, I guess you could say, popular black politicians that responded to Mark Lamont putting up this video of him answering the question that way, saying basically you're grouping in all white people together. What if that's like how white people say all black people are thugs and gangsters. And so when they go around black people, they tend to hold their wallets a little bit tighter, their purses a little bit tighter, like feeling like there's going to be a crime done to them by that. So would you say that's kind of the same thing?
I mean, I'm not upset about the comparison, because here's the thing. If white people hang around the same group of black people for a while, and at first they're clutching their wallets and they're doing this and they're doing all that, just to find out after a month, after 2 months, after a year, after 5 years, ain't nothing happened to them. Guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna change with the times.
Right.
The reason why I'm still like on edge is because not everyone has changed with the times. Not everyone. We got to remember, white people are like 77% of the population.
Yeah.
So there are places that they got one.
Yeah.
Or they got one mixed family. Or they, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they just don't know how to react when somebody who looks like me comes into the city. So even though I'm comfortable here, I'm comfortable in certain places, I still got to be on my P's and Q's to make sure, like, yo, ain't nothing about to happen to me, because things can happen.
For sure.
People still out here doing the same thing. So I'm not going to be upset to say, like, oh, y'all clutch your wallets and whatnot. Okay. After a while, when you realize that we ain't doing nothing to you, then you're good.
For sure. And I know, like, we were talking about rural areas. When I was living in Vineland, I remember I was rooming with a friend. I was staying with a friend at the time. And we had, I think it was like New Year's or Christmas or something like that. One of those, I think it was New Year's. And we had like a New Year's party, and I invited my friend, who happened to be a black girl. And she came, and we were the only two people of color at the party, right? And you know, after she left or whatever, you know, in a dramatic way, things got kind of weird with all the alcohol, all this kind of stuff. But she ended up leaving, and the things that I heard out of those guys' mouths about why she acted the way that she acted, or
how did she act?
So she got super drunk and was just getting like kind of, she's a little too much, I guess you could say. So, you know, she started disrespecting maybe some of the people that were there. Felt like she was disrespecting some of the people there.
In what way? Like she was making fun of them, or?
I mean, just having an attitude, I guess I could say. I mean, I was kind of hazy. I was inebriated at the time as well.
Okay.
But you know, I ended up getting an Uber to go home just because, you know, it was turning into drama. I think she got into a fight with one of the girls, something like that.
Gosh, okay.
Anyways, but
it wasn't like a racial thing.
Nah.
Oh, okay.
But then it turned into a racial thing.
Okay.
Right? Because then it was like, that's how these people just are.
No.
And I'm like, wow. You know what I mean? Like in my mind, I'm just like, because I think coming from California and, you know, maybe even just being as assimilated as I am, just not really being right. You know, it's like when you see it in your face and you're just like, whoa, I just thought this was in the movies, or I just thought this was like, you know what I mean? So it's just like, it's kind of, it's just, it's sad that it's out there to the point. And I think like you said, you know, if you're so far removed from it, from being in places like California where, you know, we're just
assimilated. And it happens here too, though. Yeah,
it does happen here, but I mean, I think it does happen here for sure. But in certain areas, like you said, it's a different type of racism. So when you're saying things like, you know, I have to be worried for my life and things like that, maybe some people are listening and be like, what are you talking about?
I know it sounds dramatic.
Yeah.
And I'm not necessarily saying like I'm tiptoeing everywhere, but I definitely have my P's and Q's on me. I just, you know,
your like radar is on.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Your sonar. You're looking at,
especially in those like little towns, like nobody really knows the name. Mm-hmm. Like if you going somewhere, I feel like black people, whenever they travel to places that normal black people don't normally go to or live at, more to say they don't live there, you're gonna go to the biggest place. If you're gonna go to Washington State, you're not gonna go to blank little tiny city. You're gonna go to Seattle, right? Hopefully, someone at Starbucks can see what's happening if you get into a kerfuffle with somebody, right? You're not gonna just go to just the little tiny towns. So normally, you're doing that on purpose. You know what I'm saying? You're just making sure you're in the possible chance of another person who sort of looks like you is somewhat nearby.
Right.
You know, because man, as much as people put BLM in their bio, this, that, and the third, there still is that population of people who, like, the moment things get a little dicey, a little this, a little that, they turn right back into what they normally do.
For sure.
Know? And look, it's annoying, and it doesn't mean that your life is on the line, but sometimes it feels like it is, and that's what it is, you know. So either way, I'm gonna buy a gun.
You better while you can.
What you think, Joe Biden not gonna let us?
Man, they try to come after them guns.
I'm trying to go after them.
It's already hard enough in California to get a gun. You got to jump through all kinds of hoops.
Yeah, I was just trying to steal one. What else do we got?
This was a big weekend for sports.
Was a big weekend for sports.
International sports.
So let's talk about this one first. Are the Suns gonna sweep the Bucks? Give me your predicts.
No.
No?
Nah, I think the Bucks will at least get 1 or 2.
1 or 2?
Yeah.
I'm thinking 1 maybe.
So both of those games that the Suns won were at home.
Okay.
Right. So now today, I don't know what the score is right now. They're playing right now.
Let me see.
But you would assume that, you know, Milwaukee's gonna defend, you know, home court. They have their fans there. You know, like usually the role players play better when they're at home. They're sleeping in their own beds, all that kind of stuff.
Well, you're right. Suns lost by 20 points.
See? So
100 to 120.
So I mean, obviously, I think that the Suns are a better team overall. I think that Milwaukee has better players, but I think that overall, like just the way that the team plays, and Suns are going to have home court advantage, so that Game 7 is going to be at home. So as long as the Suns win all of their games at home, they're going to win the series, right? So, but yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a sweep. Anybody that thought it was going to be a sweep just doesn't know basketball.
Do you consider CP3
top 5 point guard of all time?
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's just, if CP3 had like, I actually was just listening to this earlier today. I forget what show it was on, but, like, obviously, like, Magic Johnson got drafted to the Lakers, and he had Kareem Abdul-Jabbar on his team, and then, he had Jerry Buss as his owner. So Magic Johnson was, in my eyes, the greatest point guard of all time, but he also was put into a very good situation where he can maximize his talent, maximize his opportunity, and get the credit for that as well. CP3, on the other hand, didn't have that same, like Ja Morant right now. Ja Morant is one of the best point guards, I think, in the league, but is he ever going to win a title if he stays in Memphis? Most likely not. You know what I mean? And same thing with, Trae Young and all these guys. Like, there's a reason why a lot of these players, it's happening with Dame Lillard right now. Dame Lillard,
that boy goes crazy.
Yeah, he would be as popular as Steph Curry if he got drafted to the Lakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But
what his stat was, like, he's the first player to
who's Dame?
Yeah.
I don't know. He has he's amazing.
There was one stat that was insane. Like, he was the first person to do it in I think it was the last year's season.
Yeah, I'm not sure what, but I'm sure he's broken plenty of records. But a lot of when these people, a lot of these stars are also a product of their situation. You know what I mean? So even LeBron James, who's probably top 3 player of all time, he had to go to Miami to win his first title, and he made that move knowing that I needed more talent and that around me, and he learned how to win, being around that organization with Pat Riley, Dwayne Wade, and all those guys who had already won titles before LeBron. And then LeBron was able to go to Cleveland and win one, and then obviously go to LA and win one. But, it is, you got to have the right circumstances and opportunity around you, no matter how great you are.
Strategy.
Right. So going back to CP3, I think that just based off of what he's been able to do, no team has ever been worse because CP3 was on their team. You know what I mean? And he's one of the best leaders in the NBA. I know, he has a certain type. A lot of players may have said that, he rubs people the wrong way, but who else did that? Jordan. You know who else did that? Kobe. So a lot of these greats are known for being really tough teammates because they expect a certain level of work ethic, a certain level of, hard, like playing practice, things of that nature. CP3 has that mentality without the championship. So
without the teams.
Well, more importantly, the championships, right? So, like, when you listen to a Jordan, you're like, oh, yeah, well, Jordan's been MVP and, he's won this many championships. So he's the best player on our team, so on and so forth. Kobe says it. You're like, this guy's been decorated, all NBA, all this kind of stuff. Chris Paul says it and does it. Maybe not everybody respects him on the team just because what have you won?
Yeah, he doesn't have it.
Yeah, so CP3 with the championship, now all of a sudden he's elevated into that, one of the top 5, I think.
Does it mean anything that he's just going to have one?
There's so many people that are considered great players that have 0.
Yeah. Look at Allen
Iverson, Charles Barkley, Karl Malone, John Stockton, right? And then you look at guys like Kevin Garnett, he only has 1. Paul Pierce, he only has 1. These are guys that are considered greats. It's really hard. There's a very limited amount of players that are all-time greats that have multiple championships. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
what makes it that Oakland team so crazy.
Golden State.
That, like, that period of time,
Yeah.
is just insane.
And just imagine how many times the Lakers have been able to do that.
Damn.
Over
they're
multiple
18 right now, right?
They're at 17 right now. Every single decade since the 80s, they've had some kind of three-peat or back-to-back championships.
And Boston is what, 18?
17 as well.
Damn, that's crazy.
Yep. But the crazy thing is that Boston was so far ahead of the Lakers till Jerry Buss got the team.
Wow.
Since Jerry Buss has had the team, I think he's won 11 championships. And Boston was at, I think, like maybe like 14 or 15 at that time.
Wow. Man, it just goes to show you. I also saw that the USA team
just lost to Nigeria.
Lost to Nigeria by 1 point, was it?
3 points.
3 points. Whoa.
In a scrimmage, yep.
Why they let J. Cole do that? No, just kidding.
That's Rwanda, sir.
I know.
I guess all African countries are the same to you.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, like,
Isn't that
look,
crazy?
The rest of the world has caught up when it comes to basketball.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, think about some of the stars in the NBA right now. Mm-hmm. A lot of them are international players.
That's true.
And that Nigeria team had probably 5 or 6 players that were in the NBA. Not like superstars, but like people that were in the NBA.
Pretty good.
You know, so you're playing against NBA players, and you know, if you're off, and you know, Team USA obviously has the best talent, you would say, but when you look at international teams, they have a lot more cohesiveness, just because these guys play with each other all the time.
Right. Versus USA team, they just pulling in.
It's like street balls. Yeah.
Different teams and whatnot.
Right. They're not like playing like international sports in countries other than the US are much bigger than their local sports. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Just so like this weekend we had Euro Cup going on. The Euro Cup finals just happened today. Shout out to Italy beating England. Copa America finals were yesterday. Brazil versus Argentina. Argentina won. Messi finally got
out.
and then you know the biggest thing. So Messi is one of the
Give him a round of applause, Chris.
Messi is
This
one
guy
of
never
the.
knows the buttons. Never.
It's
He's gonna
only his
press a order.
soundboard. It's only his soundboard.
Good job.
You know, Messi being one of the greatest soccer players of all time, football players, you know, and everywhere else but here. His biggest knock was he's never won a trophy with Argentina. And, you know, he finally got that monkey off his back yesterday.
Damn, congratulations.
Yeah, and so, like, that, like, it's so big internationally to be able to win with your country, you know, and here, it's not that big of a deal.
Yo, because we win everything anyway.
Clearly not basketball.
Yo,
Never
listen,
winning
man,
anything in soccer.
Once it really matters. No, our soccer team is the Matter of fact, they called me and was like, yo, you trying to play? I was like, I haven't gotten off the couch in 7 years.
Bro, he said he could hoop in the league and NBA. He said he could be a quarterback. And now he's saying he could play.
I'll tell you one thing, I could have been a quarterback. I'll tell you that. Okay, so let's get to the sport that you love a lot. I saw that brother talking that trash after he broke his own leg.
What a fight, what a
He
night.
took that one step back and he was like, yo, I'ma still DM your girl.
Dude.
Dustin Poirier.
Conor
was like,
McGregor
"What you
is
said?"
a different level of just hatefulness. Like when it gets into fight mode.
I love it. I thought
Yeah,
it was
I don't
amazing.
like
You didn't like it?
Nah, I don't like that.
What didn't you like?
I don't like it in when you know wives and family and kids and all that kind of stuff. I'm not a big fan. You know, the dogs feel me too. Like we ain't big fans of all that nonsense.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, look. The funny thing about
I couldn't even understand what he was saying. He said, I was like, oh snap! I had to get the closed caption on.
with Conor.
Yeah. I couldn't
Yeah,
even understand
but
what
you
he
know
was saying.
the crazy thing about it is, you know, Conor said all this stuff about Dustin's wife and showed the DM and all this kind of stuff, right? And that's not what Dustin was upset about. He's like, you know, my wife's solid. Whatever he says, I know that, you know, she's not doing nothing. But the thing that really upset him, and the reason why he was so upset even after the fight, was when he said, you know, I'm gonna murder you, and you're gonna be leaving in a casket. And he's like, you don't wish that. You don't even joke about, you know, killing somebody, especially in the type of sport we're in, because it's a possibility. You know what I mean? And so that's the thing that he felt like taking all the line. But, you know, Conor's a habitual line stepper. Like
That's what made him a superstar.
Yeah. I mean, I think partly it was that, but I think obviously he had the skill to back it up.
Definitely.
And he was starching
but when
people.
You're good on the mic, like when you not only good, but when you're like spicy to the point where everyone say, "Whoa, what did he say?"
Right.
You know,
it's true, but you know, he's in his last 7 fights, he's lost 4 of them.
Yikes.
But you know what? The next fight he has, if he ever comes back, who knows if, you know, he's gonna want to come back after such a gruesome injury. You know, he'll still have one of the highest pay-per-views no matter who he fights, and he'll still make a lot of money. And he's built a brand that, you know, is pretty unimpeachable at this moment as far as being able to make money.
Now, so this was a big pay-per-view fight.
Yeah, anything Conor's involved in is gonna be one of the biggest pay-per-views of all time.
So is it true he made $25 million?
I would say easily.
I thought for some reason that they said that the UFC guys don't make a lot of money.
So that is all a matter of like perspective.
Okay, so they're saying if this was a different
So,
league or something, that 25 could have easily been 100 million.
No, I don't think they so nobody is complaining about what Conor's making. It's more about just like the everyday fighter. So the problem is what people do is they compare MMA fighting to boxing.
Okay.
But they only talk about the top echelon of boxer. And they don't talk about necessarily the average boxer. So the average boxer in, you know, fights in a promotion, they're getting, let's say they're getting 3 or 4 fights a year, right? Just like the average UFC fighter's getting like 3 or 4 fights a year. The entry level for boxing is making maybe $500 a fight. The minimum you're making with the UFC, minimum, meaning you just show up and you lose that fight, is $12,000. Okay. Now 6 years ago, that same number was $2,000 for the UFC. So in 6 years, they've been able to up that base salary 6 times.
Okay.
So think about a job where you've been able to take the entry level job, entry level position, the lowest paid person, and their salary has increased by 6 times in 6 years.
Are those fights on TV?
Yeah.
Every single one of them?
Everything that UFC does is on TV.
Okay.
So the number that people really talk about is, so most organizations that have a union, like the NFL, the NBA, things like that, there's a profit sharing between the league and the owners and the players. And usually that number is like 49%, 50%. It's usually like a 50-50 split. Whereas when you look at the UFC, it's more around like 19, 18% that goes to the fighters. Okay. So obviously when you look at it in that perspective, you're like, well, you know, these other sports are making more. However, the UFC brand is unlike any other brand in fighting. Right? You can't compare the UFC to the NFL or to NBA. It's a much different game, much different league, and they've been around much longer than the UFC, right? So, but when you look at, so I was looking at this because usually they compare it to boxing, right? So a couple weeks ago, Gervonta Davis was fighting an undefeated fighter that was a champion at 140, and I forget the guy's name at this time, which is bad because he's a really good fighter. He was undefeated. So Gervonta Davis undefeated, this guy's undefeated, and he was the champ. Gervonta Davis went up to be able to fight this guy, and Gervonta Davis won. And I ended up going to this guy's Twitter page because I was like, yo, this is a really dope fighter. Let me follow him. He had probably like 6,000, 7,000 followers.
He was the champion of the world?
Yeah, he was a world champ at 140.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so then I went to...
You said 140, I understand.
The weight, 140.
No, I understand.
Okay, so then
like,
I went to...
Don't typically people like the bigger people, like the heavyweight people.
Well, I
Unless
mean,
it's like-
Gervonta Davis has a pretty nice following. It's by who's promoting you, right? Gervonta Davis is
that's true.
promoted
Okay,
by
that's true.
Floyd Mayweather, so he's gonna have a lot more. So, anyways, then I looked at Chase Hooper, who is a fighter for the UFC. You know, not necessarily like a world beater. Isn't on main cards. He's a prelim fighter. Has lost his last few fights, so on and so forth. This kid has 17,000 followers
on Twitter.
Right? And I'm not even talking about Instagram and all this kind of stuff where they probably have bigger followings than this. But the difference, the other fighter, the boxer, has way more accolades, undefeated record, was a world champion, and he doesn't have the publicity that Chase Hooper does, just being part of the UFC brand. So a lot of the money that UFC has is going towards building this brand. They build a lot of facilities for these guys to be able to go and use, train at, work with doctors, so on and so forth. They are constantly building this brand as far as like making it bigger and bigger. So when you become a part of the UFC, you have that machine that's behind you to build your brand. Now, remember when we were talking about earlier about entrepreneurism before being an employee? So if you have that machine, what you do with it is up to you, right? Some people are doing with it and starting podcasts and merch deals and all this kind of stuff, creating their own brand and making a lot of money, probably more money off of just sponsorships and all the extracurriculars that they're doing, opening up gyms, all this kind of stuff, than they make fighting. But they're gaining all this popularity off of being able to say they're a UFC fighter.
Of course, yeah.
Now other people are just like, that aren't as entrepreneurial, are saying, look, why is this guy making $1 million in boxing and why am I only making 250,000, 300,000, fighting? So it's all about like a matter of perspective. Could fighters in the UFC get paid more? Probably, but you'll never find a fighter in any sport or a basketball player or an athlete in any sport that says they're getting paid too much. You know what I mean? They're always gonna say, we could get paid more.
I saw an interesting thing that Ice Cube said the other day. He said that most new leagues don't last more than 4 years, and except for the UFC. And he said that this year, bless you, I think, for Big Three League is a huge year because it's their 4th year. And he was saying this is typically the year where people find out if this is a league or if this is done for. And the fact that they signed a deal with Triller and they're going to be on
I think
CBS or something like that.
Yeah.
This is huge news. Give Ice Cube a round of applause.
Has Ice Cube ever failed at anything that he's done? Seems like if he puts his name to it, it's going to be great.
I'm sure he has, which is why he's good at the things he's good at.
Right.
It doesn't come from just being, just succeeding. But Ice Cube and LL Cool J are two dudes that know business and they figure that thing out real well. So congratulations to those guys. I knew this, but I just don't remember which year, if it was for 2 years ago, which it probably was because there wasn't a Big Three last year. But Lisa Leslie, Coach of the Year for Big Three, which I think is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Another round of applause for her. Lisa Leslie, legendary ball player in the WNBA who...
One of the GOATs.
She's Jordan of the WNBA.
Yeah.
So that's pretty amazing stuff that's happening in sports. Post-pandemic sports has been a tough time trying to even get people to watch. The last few finals across the board for everything has been low views. We're talking Super Bowl. We're talking NBA Finals. The past 2 years have been, not a lot of people watching them.
I think it ticked up this year.
Definitely, and I think that they're solving some of the issues why people didn't want to watch. But I actually was kind of interested in the NBA playoffs this year more than typically other years. I typically am just kind of like, oh, okay, I'll watch it, and then I'll watch the finals. This year, the finals is kind of boring, but the playoffs was pretty exciting.
And what's funny is this year, so last year the Lakers were in with Miami, which are two big market teams.
Yeah, exactly.
And this year it's the Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks, which are two small market teams. And the finals are actually pulling better numbers than they did last year.
Definitely. But
so this is a big, huge kind of thing as far as like, not just opportunity, but there's this constant debate, and I've had it with some of my friends. I have a friend that lives in Orlando. And, I'm a Laker fan. He's a Magic fan, Orlando Magic fan. He's like, the Orlando Magic could never be as good or contend with a team like the Lakers just because nobody wants to be in Orlando. Everybody wants to be in LA. But it shows, if a team has the right mentality, develops the right type of relationships, develops the right type of players, you can have a lot of success. Sure. And like the Suns are going all in, obviously making the trade for Chris Paul, developing a guy like Devin Booker, building the team around him. You got to have some luck. Obviously they had a lot of early round picks, a guy like DeAndre Ayton, a guy like Devin Booker, so on and so forth. And then you look at Milwaukee, obviously being able to pick a guy like Giannis and draft a guy like Middleton and then bring over a guy like Drew Holiday. But if you have that mentality that, I'm a small market team and I'm going to focus on just maximizing my profit versus going after a championship, obviously you're not gonna. There's a different way small market teams have to go about building a championship team than a team like the Lakers, team like Golden State. Obviously and a team like a Knicks. Obviously there's gonna be advantages to being in a big market, but that doesn't mean it can't be done. You just gotta be creative.
Right, it's true, and it always seems like people don't want to watch. Now, I think last year was just an exception. If this was 2018 and it was Lakers in Miami, the numbers would be out of here.
Yeah, and I think they were going up against NFL at that time too, which is
there's that. Tough. But I mean, it was honestly a lot of the BLM stuff that caused a lot of people to not want to watch, and it was just COVID year. You
would think it'd be higher though during COVID because everybody's home.
Well, it was September, October-ish.
Still.
Yeah, but it was September, October after everybody's been home for months and months and months, and everyone just kind of like angry. The whole country's angry at politics. People are upset. People just were not interested.
Thick of politics,
yeah. They were just not interested. But I do understand that they just had to do what they had to do just for the year. But if this were just 2 years before, if it was Golden State versus Miami or Lakers versus Knicks or something like
Boston.
that, even that, it would just be insane. But last year was just kind of like, meh. Like some people don't even count it. Like some people are just like, it was the
usually
bubble,
Laker haters.
the bubble championship. Like, okay,
Laker haters.
And I would even say like the folks in Miami, it seems like they just like went home. They were just like, oh, okay, we lost.
Yeah.
What's my boy's name? Jimmy
Butler, Jimmy Buckets.
Butler. It was just like he lost and he was like,
I don't think that's true. Jimmy Butler is too fierce to be thinking. He probably thought about that every single day. That's the closest he ever got to a championship.
Pretty darn close.
That's the closest
Hopefully
he's ever
he
got.
gets there again.
Yeah.
Instead of smashing reporters.
Allegedly.
What do we have next? Is sports done?
Man, that was the longest we've ever gone about sports. I'm excited.
Chris, I didn't hear you say much about sports.
Go get them.
Wow.
The boy's going crazy.
I never was really into sports. I watched baseball when I was a kid.
Chris does. What? You don't like baseball anymore?
I do. So I do. I haven't.
You been following Ohtani?
No.
Hey, yo.
Wow.
Isn't there a Dodger player that got arrested for marijuana? You heard about that?
No, I didn't hear.
White guy,
Laker guy in Texas. Guy? Yeah, Andrew, Alex Caruso.
That's it. So, okay, I mixed it up. So it was a Laker guy who got arrested for marijuana. They gonna let him off the team?
No, for weed. That stuff's legal in L.A.
I thought they were talking about distributing. No.
Nah. He just got caught in Texas. Yeah.
In Texas with it, does that change anything?
I don't know if it's legal in Texas.
I don't know. What it might be actually.
Well, yeah. Somehow
maybe he had too much. You can only have a certain amount.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what it was, but yeah, he's fine. I don't think there's.
Well, Lil Baby had weed on him in France. And 2 seconds after, they said, "Little baby, we love you. You and James Harden." James Harden was out there looking like a monk.
Dude, that was Fashion Week, right? They were out there for Fashion Week.
Oh, was it that way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh boy,
That's why they were dressed the way they were. But that video of them where they look all like frightened.
Yeah, they probably just finished smoking the sauce.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't see that video when Lil Baby came out and they were like, "Little baby, we love you," and he's just like.
And then like 20, 30 minutes later, this video comes out with Lil Baby in the back of a van because he's probably like, "Man, I got this all on me right now." He's like, "There are way too many cameras out here." Harden, and Harden's like, where do we go? Where do we go?" Like,
in my head, I was like, "Oh, like Lil Baby popped a perk."
Yeah,
but
nah, you know it was probably crazy. They probably got so high that they forgot where they were and who they were. They're like, "Yo, we are James Harden and Lil Baby at France's Fashion Week. Do we really think we could walk these streets without anybody know?" James Harden's like, "Maybe I could hide in my beard." Nah, homie, you're the tallest dude in France right now.
Little Baby was so confused before he got arrested. He came out just staring at her. "I love you too." Little Baby, I love you. Oh man, had me cracking up. Oh man, well, we're glad that he's free. He said he's gonna be back.
Yeah, free Lil Baby.
No, he's free.
No,
Keep Lil Baby free.
See, that's what happens when you don't ask if France got black people. When you go to France, you gotta be like, "Yo, do they got noir people here?" Yeah, they do. Okay, I'm about to have my perks on me and my zippets.
That's funny.
Did you guys see my boy Aubrey at Dodger game? But there was no game.
With no people.
With no game.
There was a game.
He was hitting some game. Yeah. So my question here is one that's slightly off. So the kind lady who's gorgeous, is her child plays at.
He's a number one recruit.
He's a number one recruit at Sierra Canyon.
Yeah, same school that
Lil Bronny plays at. But this kid is the true star.
Yeah.
Okay. How do the kids react to that your mom is dating Drake? Is that cool or is that not cool?
I don't know.
I'm trying to find out. Because you know Drake, like, he done been through them all.
Yeah.
So is that like, that's dope? Or is that...
Well, think about like your favorite celebrity. And if that person was dating your mom, how would you feel?
I mean, but that's why I think it's different because it's like, who's my mom? So like, is this...
I don't understand the question.
So like, if it's my mom, that's not in the industry, anything like that, that, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's going to be weird. But maybe she's the type, she's like dating guys like that all the time.
Oh, yeah,
she dated a basketball player.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it might be different for her. Maybe, I mean, I'm sure maybe her baby daddy that, you know, birthed this dude obviously had to have some kind of physical ability for his son to be as athletic as he is, you know?
Well, so the story has it that the basketball player that this young woman was dating before is the one who taught this young guy how to play basketball, gave him all the skills, chef curried him, and did everything that they got to do to get him to be who he is now. So apparently Aubrey's been dating this lady for a few months, but he's also super tight with the kid, teaching him how to become famous, how to deal with this, that, and the third, all this stuff. We thought they was just chilling and as compadres. No,
everybody thought Drake was coming for LeBron and Bronny.
Yes, exactly.
Everybody who thought that Drake was at the game because LeBron was there and to watch Bronny. Then all of a sudden, helicopter goes over Dodger Stadium and they're like, wait a minute.
Question for you guys: planned or not planned?
Planned.
Planned.
Everything Drake does is planned. His team won't let him do anything.
Did you see the video, Chris?
No.
Something inside of me says that it's too coincidental for it to not be planned.
What has Aubrey ever done that's not planned? There's only been one thing in life. And that was
his kid.
No. Oh yeah, maybe that wasn't planned, but it was Pusha T's did like back and forth with Pusha T. that got to a certain point, and what
He
happened?
couldn't handle the smoke.
And then what happened?
He had to back out.
The team pulled the plug.
The team pulled
Jay Prince came out, started making his rounds, calling Pusha T all kinds of pigs in the mud and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
See, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like, the person who needs a defendant looks like a punk.
Yeah. But does anybody not think that Drake ain't a punk? Come on, man.
Drake ain't no punk.
Is this
Oh,
a
okay.
video here? Him at a giant dinner table?
Yes,
at Dodger Stadium.
At an empty Dodger Stadium with a beautiful woman. And at the same, so the funny thing is, so I mentioned this before, like he was texting Nicki on her live because she was announcing the whole lot of money remix, right? And Nicki goes, "You out here texting me, telling me be a cute. Get back to your little big booty thing." And as we're watching it, we're just like, okay, but oh, wait a second, he was with the big booty thing.
But don't you think at this point Drake probably lays it all on the line, tells them what it is, and they're just like, okay.
Oh, there's no way you're a human being going out on a date with Drake and thinking like, oh, it's just me.
Right.
The guy has 2 mansions in 2 countries.
Right. And he calls himself certified lover boy.
It's just album promotion.
You can't be certified lover boy with only one person to love.
No, you can't do that. You can't.
You ain't certified at that
can't.
point.
So
it takes a lot of hours to be able to be certified in anything.
You have a point. Here's another reason why I think that it is planned. Because, damn it, I lost it. I definitely think it is planned, but he did a real good job of making it feel like it's not.
That's not Basil.
No. That's grandma.
Basil got some color to it.
No.
That's Granny. Granny's
So
like
do you think it
17.
was? But what's the angle?
Oh, here's why I think it's planned. So when I first saw it, I think I saw it on like Grand Wizard's Instagram page. And I was just like, oh, okay, that's very Drake-ish. Like a very Drake thing to do. I'm going to shut down the Dodger Stadium. I'm in LA for like 2 weeks. I'm going to shut it down. I'm going to take a girl out for dinner. I was like, oh, okay, that's a Drake thing to do. But then it was the news of the day. It was on everything. And I was like, this is not big enough news for it to be everywhere the way that it was. So then I was like, oh, this is 100% some form of promotion, or maybe he just needs his name hot for a second, some form of promotion. But the one thing that is like, is the fact that it's this kid's mom. Like, I'd understand if it was just like an Instagram girl, you know.
Right.
But this kid's mom, who the kid is huge.
Right.
The kid is the actual star. His mom is gorgeous and beautiful and everything like that, but it's like that's one that you keep quiet. You see what I'm saying?
She's not like she's not in the industry.
She's not just like a girl that you just.
So what do you think the angle
pass
is?
around. So now, that's why I'm confused. I'm like, this is very promotional, but this is also not. And his body language when the helicopter caught him was just like, oh shoot.
Well, maybe. Well, first of all, I don't think that there was a way of keeping that a secret. You don't do.
But you
don't
keep
flex
it a
that way. No, you can't rent out Dodger Stadium without people finding out, bro.
On a helicopter?
Well, the helicopter probably was after somebody found out, told the news or whatever, and then they were like, "Let's fly this helicopter over and see it." You don't.
Wait.
You
That
think you
sounds
could?
very private to me though, because I'm not gonna know what's happening.
If it was private, they would be up in a place where you can't be seen.
He's
That's what
sitting in the
private
middle
is.
stadium.
Is it the middle of the stadium?
It's not. It's like it's on the
next to
ground.
dugout. But the thing
What's in the
is,
dugout?
how you gonna sit in Dodger Stadium, all the lights on? We all know full well there's no game. You're gonna be like, oh, that's crazy. They just keep the lights on.
But what I'm saying, well, you never know. Like,
And
I think the neighbors would probably have seen the lights on at some point in time, but there's no game happening.
Right.
They could have been doing whatever in there.
No, but
so I think the average person would have just been like, "Oh, okay."
I don't think so,
Right?
man. I think that
I would have never been like,
the
"Oh,
Dodgers
Aubrey's in there."
schedule is pretty public.
Plus,
It's like you can't shut down the Staples Center without somebody knowing the Staples Center shut down for
I
something.
would never know.
You wouldn't, but I'm sure like somebody would.
think about where Dodger Stadium is, though. There's a lot of
All it would
traffic,
take.
air traffic.
Where is that Dodger Stadium?
Dodger Stadium.
Downtown. All it would take
LA.
is
Kind of.
one person that works at Dodger Stadium to tell people, "Yo, Drake rented out the whole stadium," for that rumor to just start spreading.
That's freaking crazy. By the way, I found out that he made a sizable donation to the team, and they gave him the
The ability to do that.
yeah, exactly. So
Cool.
it wasn't like a rent out, but it also made me wonder, like, why are you
I
giving
think
a
it's just a
donation to the
flex.
team? It really is. But for this lady,
But maybe she's in on it.
I think just in general.
Maybe it's a promotion for both sides.
it could be because everybody's talking about the kid now.
Yeah.
And the kid is a number one prospect. Get his numbers up on Instagram
Yeah.
and YouTube and all that stuff.
Especially
By
now,
the time
think
he
about-
gets a sneaker deal. Oh, wait.
Now the
he's going to go to
NCAA,
college
yeah.
and he can get paid.
Right.
Ah, damn. Drake is smart.
And segue,
Damn, the
you
kid
saw?
is
Did
smart.
you end up being able to watch the Akademiks So Flagrant podcast?
I watched all 17 hours of them.
You watched all 4 hours?
I watched it all.
But you saw it was amazing. One of the best podcasts I've ever sat through and seen. What Schultz and Akash and that whole team is doing is amazing. I recommend going and watch their podcast. Obviously after you watch ours. But there was that whole segment that Akademiks was talking about why Drake is the greatest in his eyes.
Of
And it
course,
had a
but he
lot to
said
do
that
with
a billion times.
Yeah, and it has a lot to do with not necessarily his ability to write and make music and all this kind of stuff. It's his ability of just that, being smart business wise, and instead of seeing everybody as competition, being able to see trends before they happen and becoming part of the trend so that they don't become competition.
Yeah, I mean the dude's strategy is just next level, and I think that he's very like the ability to be the variable piece in so many pieces of music is also just like a talent that not everybody has. You know, like Jay-Z is a great rapper, and he makes really good music. But could Jay-Z go do a song with Wizkid and then on the next day go do a song with Heady One and then go do a song with Dave and then sing with The Weeknd? It's like a perfect storm.
He might be able to, but I don't think Jay-Z thinks that way.
Right, exactly.
And what I mean by that is I think that one of the things like that, at least from what Akademiks was saying, it's kind of like, you know how you just said that the person that needs to be defended looks kind of like soft? Mm-hmm. And I think that, you know, if Drake, to stay relevant, is using, you know, all these different sounds and all these different artists, if people look at it that way, they kind of be like, yo, Drake, you kind of soft, man. You can't even do this on your own. You always needed all these features or being with all these, you know, up and coming artists and stuff like that. And that's what Ak was saying, is like most people look at it like Drake's helping these guys out, but what Drake's actually doing is
he's helping himself out.
Helping himself out in two ways. One, keeping his name relevant with the young kids because he's on tracks with these guys that have, you know, more of a younger audience. But two, he's now eliminating the competition by becoming friends with them.
Now, the funny thing about that, I mean, I think that Drake has more musical variety in his arsenal than Jay-Z does, because Jay-Z has the ability to rap better than Drake, but Drake has the ability to make more.
Drake is more of a pop star than
He has that
Jay-Z.
reach of like rapper fans can like Drake, like pop
R&B fans.
Yeah, like everybody can like Drake. He has that thing for everybody,
right?
But notice this, like the guy is really just next level with the strategy. He'll make a playlist or a mixtape and have everybody on it as a feature.
Right.
And then he makes his album and there's like 2 features. And it's like his real good buddies. It's like a Future feature and like a Wayne feature, and then 20 songs just him by himself. Or like a small feature that's not a real feature, like the City Girls in the Kiki song. Like it's not a feature, but it's a feature.
Right.
And it's like, and those are the projects that does 1 million first week. The playlists, the mixtapes, they'll do 500, 600, 7. But then the album that is mainly him, it's gonna hit 1 million. And it's like, whew. I think there's so many layers to this that just like, man, if I could just learn, there's 2 people in this industry that their business is so on point. If I could learn to do some of their tactics, I would be on a different level. But one of them, you have to cut your heart out a little bit to do it.
That 50?
No, it's Tyler Perry.
Oh, okay.
His business acumen is just incredible. He's always going to win. Even if you lose or everybody else doesn't win as much, the thing about Tyler Perry is, first of all, his money's going to be right. And number 2, even if he does a bad job, like he writes a poor script or he makes a bad movie, he always has the people who are like, yo, you can't criticize him. Because he's giving black people work, he's giving black people opportunities, he's paying black people, and it kind of shields him from anybody saying like, yo, this thing is not good, right? You're almost not allowed to say it anymore because him and Spike Lee pieced it up. So it's like this guy moved on so much strategy that, like, man, like he's a billionaire. Right, he's a billionaire off of strategy, and the next guy is this guy Aubrey. Like he got to this level where his sound could have fallen off so long ago. It could have easily, boom. I feel like 2016, 2017 is when I was like, all right, I think that this thing is about to go downward. And I remember telling people that, and they were just like, no, dude, it's about to go up. And I had a couple friends that made music with him, and they were like, you don't even know what's on the way. And I was like, as a fan, I just can't see it continuing. That was 5 years ago.
Yeah, and I think it's because
that's crazy.
I think it's because Drake has a lot of humility in industry that doesn't have a lot of humility, right? So I think Drake obviously raps braggadocious on his records and stuff like that, right. But internally I think he understands to be humble, because if you look at some of these other guys that may have had similar talent to Drake, they get caught up in the whole beefs, they get caught up in the whole competition, rap is a full contact, you know what I mean? Whereas what Drake does is he takes these people under his wing before they become superstars, and then creates that friendship. And now you can't go at your friend.
Never.
You can't go at the dude who gave you your first #1 hit.
And you know what? And that he has a lot of power.
He understands his leverage.
He has a lot of power,
which is the same thing that Tyler Perry does. He understands his leverage and uses it smartly. So in a thing where he could have been F you, Spike Lee, I'm so much bigger than you, and all this kind of stuff, he understood, hey, why don't I just name one of these buildings after Spike Lee, piece this up, and then I have no problems now. I'm gonna use this guy as an ally.
It makes me look so much better. And the people who hated me because they agreed with Spike Lee, now Spike is saying everything is cool. Guess what? Y'all gonna be watching my movie.
Exactly.
It's a different, like, these guys think, what is the name of that book?
50 Law.
Yeah.
Or Sun Tzu's Art of War.
Whichever one.
48 Laws of Power.
48 Laws of Power. These guys think on that level.
Yeah.
To stay who they are. I'll never forget, I went to the Drake concert with Redman. And this is when Scorpion came out, which is my least favorite Drake album. I just think it's not good. And somehow I knew every word in that concert. I was swinging my hips like a chick. But Block Boy JB came out and he performed this song. The guy gave everything he had on that stage. And I remember this one moment where Drake came up to him And it was like a dad with his kid. And he put his arm around him, gave him a couple pats. He was like, good job, buddy. Sent him back down the stairs. And then the music changed, the lights changed, and he gained control of the show again. And I was just like, damn, that was just like a guy, like a dad, who was just like, here's your spot, here's your shot, bud. Do what you can. Hopefully it lands. If not, you can't say I didn't give you the opportunity.
And it's like the new mentality of this generation, right? So you look at it even in like the sports world. In the NBA right now, it's all about super teams. Well, the generation before, like a Kobe Bryant, like these Jordans, Charles Barkley, all these guys that are like from the older generation, Shaq, they're all anti these super teams. But these younger generation, like the LeBrons and the Steph Currys and all this kind of stuff, they're cool. Bring any superstar you want over here. Let's create these super teams and all this kind of stuff. It's the same type of thing with music. Like Drake is probably the first artist of that new generation that's like, let's create the super teams. And you know who he probably learned it from? Lil Wayne, who was cool with being on super teams and stuff like that, right? Whereas the generation before that was all about, competition. DMX isn't gonna partner up with nobody. He's like I'm anti Jay-Z, and Jay-Z's like my label mate. You know what I mean? And like that's
how Eminem used to think.
Yeah.
Remember when Lil Wayne was trying to get on a song with Eminem, and Eminem was like, nah, I ain't doing that.
That's it.
Right? But then eventually when he did the song with
for sure.
Crazy.
But at the end of the day, they're like that being the greatest of all time and having that competition was like meant something.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas now Drake is really smart where he gets these guys when they're still fans of his before they look at him as like competition.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Whereas like a guy like Kendrick looked at him as Kendrick comes from that, is cut from that cloth, which is like, I'm gonna just rock out with my guys. Kendrick isn't Mr. Feature. He's not doing all these songs.
But you know what's funny? Drake did that song with Kendrick. You know what song I'm talking about, right? Poetic Justice. He did that Poetic Justice song where everybody said Drake washed Kendrick on the song. I don't think he washed him, but his verse was nice. But Drake tells this story about how he took Kendrick on tour. This is Take Care Time. Do you know that song on Take Care that features Kendrick? I had no clue who Kendrick was at the time.
No, I don't know. Mm-mm.
Drake took Kendrick out on that tour and introduced him to the world. When they were saying, "Oh, you got to bring an R&B act with you," and he was like, "No, I'm gonna bring Kendrick with me." And he never once says, "I showed Kendrick to the world," but he said that story in a way that was kind of like
Spicy,
not spicy, but you just kind of like gotta read between the lines to say like, yeah, they told me to bring this person and that person, but I brought Kendrick with me. And it was a big old tour.
For sure. But I'm Team Kendrick.
Oh, I mean, whatever. Wait, after this latest Cole album, do you think he's still top 3?
Cole, to me, is in a different genre. I don't consider him like rap. I mean, he's rap, but like, there's so many different levels of rap. You know what I mean? Like, he's not hood rap. He's not like, I think J. Cole's like trying to make art now, where I don't think rap necessarily has a lot of people that are trying to make art. I think people are just trying to make hits. I don't think J. Cole's like creating songs to be like, I need this to be a hit.
Yeah, he don't got a hit right now.
So like, for me, it's kind of hard because he's an actual artist going up against guys who are just like, trying to make the next, rap song that all kind of sound the same, using the same like cookie cutter stuff. Like they all using the same producers, using the same like type of beats, rapping about the same type of stuff. Where J. Cole's like, how can I push myself, to a different level? So some people are gonna like that, but usually when things are different, it takes time for people to like catch on to that kind of stuff. So
I guess the answer is yes.
No, I mean,
because if J. Cole is, if he's at that upper echelon, then and he's doing something totally different than he is at that top tier caliber.
What would you say?
I think like we put his name up there: Cole, Kendrick, Drake, I think that we put their name, and they all mean different things.
Right.
I think Drake is like clearly the top because he has this thing that,
At least commercially.
yeah, he has like the commercial side of things.
And he's probably the most relevant.
He's the most like he's the numbers guy.
Yeah.
Like he's Avengers, right? Like to the movie industry. Kendrick is the top
Artist.
the top artistic person who is true to the genre.
Right.
Right? Like he sings and he does his own little thing too, but he is like, if Drake is Avengers, what are the name of the two brothers that be making the movies, Chris? The Duplass brothers. Like Kendrick is like that. Like he's true to the art form and he's big in the game. But to me, J. Cole
doesn't stay safe.
You say he doesn't stay safe?
Yeah.
I just think that he needs help with his music.
Well, I think he plays to a core that he has. I don't think he's trying to be. I don't think he tries to be anything with the thing with J. Cole. I think he just kind of just does what he wants to do.
Yeah, and I think that's probably why he's kind of getting lower and lower on my list. I never really had him super high up there in the first place, and I went to college. But I think the issue with me is like he used to have songs that I used to bop my head to.
Right.
And like Crooked Smile, you know. But now, like the reason why I think he needs help is because I remember when Drake was saying like music is a collaborative effort. You know, it's not all gonna come from within. And you start going down the line, guys like Russ, who used to just say like, I wrote, I did, I blah blah, blah I. He hit a certain place, and then once he started collaborating with other people, all of a sudden he just hit another level in his career. And for J. Cole, it kind of went the opposite way. The more that he started excluding himself from other people,
But he collabs a lot
he started to like last year.
with Dreamville and all those stuff people.
Well, Dreamville is his own label.
Right, but he has all those guys he's always like doing collabs with them.
But he even said it himself. Like he said up until about a year and a half or two ago, like he was just doing it all by himself,
Right.
making the beats, doing all this stuff. And so now he understands the criticism of people saying like, bro, you got to expand your palette because one album of you doing all the beats by yourself is cool. But then like three, we starting to realize like
That's kind of what people were saying about Kanye too.
yeah, and and maybe they were right because once Kanye started working with other people, you know, he put out that Chance the Rapper album and everybody liked it.
Right.
He put out that, you know, that Kid Cudi album and everybody liked it. You know, so it's like sometimes I do think like just a lesson overall in life that it's never really your own thing. You know, like sometimes you do have to shake hands with people to make it happen.
And that's probably in any industry, not just music, right?
100%. Like you can't make a movie all by yourself. You can't, you know, you can't. Be
You
a
can,
lawyer.
but you can't stay consistently making great movies without. You know what I mean? Like I said, I think initially J. Cole doing it on his own probably was a great thing.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
You know,
but
that,
to stay consistent, to have longevity, to keep pushing yourself, you do need to be challenged by other people.
Right.
So I think that's where, you know, he probably realizes now, okay, well, if I want to get myself to the next level, let me compete with some of these guys, or at least
Exactly.
I understand that.
Exactly. Hey, what else you guys got?
Cool. I don't really got too much.
Good. Hey, yo. Why do you have a personality?
I don't understand the question.
Why do you have a personality? Is it because you was trying to impress somebody in middle school?
I don't think that's how you get a personality.
No, it is. Listen. Remember at the top of the...
It was a rhetorical question, is what you're trying to tell you.
Well, next time, just tell me.
Your answer is wrong, sir.
No, it is. Shut up. Let me say.
You're not leading me in the right way.
That's your personality.
No. You got to think about it.
Okay, apparently.
No, because Chris has a personality, right? But it's a very unique one. It's a like built from his group of friends. And you could tell Chris hung out with people that liked movies, that liked like creating art and that kind of thing, right? Like you dress that way, you talk that way, your jokes are kind of like from that way, right?
Okay.
How you feel being told about yourself right now?
No, but it's not a bad thing because look at his tattoos. Like he got art tattoos on him. Like he got a guitar. I think that was the very first one. You got a picture of the dude, the actor, on your arm. You got a UFO. These are our art things, right? Sunil's personality is in a way similar to mine. Can you imagine why?
No.
Because we're not beautiful.
That's true.
What?
We're not mud, but we're not beautiful.
Nobody's calling us tens.
Bingo. And you ever
But I can make you laugh, though.
That's it.
I see. Okay.
Do you ever realize
He's
how
not a curveball.
hard you have to work to be a 6?
I'd say I'm a solid 6.
And not only at like recruiting ladies or whatever you like. In life, just in life, people tend to just like trust the beautiful person. They don't have to say a lot of words. Ever. You know why they can't say a lot of words? Because they've never been challenged to say words.
They've never needed to.
Never.
They got in the
ever.
way, in fact. Yeah, I always hung out with guys that were much better looking than me,
Yep.
and I was always the mouthpiece. And I didn't even know it at the time.
You just had to adapt or die.
They used to throw me out there, and it wasn't until I got older, and I was like, dang, like I talked to them, they're like, Sunil, didn't you realize like we got all these girls because you could talk to them,
Right.
and I was like, oh, I didn't know that. Like,
Now here's my thing for you. We're all 5 to 7s in here, except for Todd, who's freaking gorgeous.
Todd's 11.
Todd
ain't even on the same scale as us, bro.
Okay, freaking gorgeous, man. But the three of
You
us.
see them Instagram posts that Todd be putting up?
Oh, have I
Oh
seen
my
it?
god.
I used to skimp. Let me. Just,
Let me not incriminate myself.
oh, he knows. I used to read them to him. So, you ever realize that sometimes we work so hard as 6s, but we're all only just giving out attention? I was thinking about this all day today. I work so hard, and I'm just offering out my time, only for them to have a tatted arm at the most important times in life, while I'm still there thinking of the next damn joke. You ever think about that?
Nah. I don't.
I thought about that today.
Because I don't consider it work. Like, this is just who I am at this point. You know what I mean? It's
A
like
hard worker.
I don't have to think about, dang, like, you know what I mean? It's just like it's natural at this point. Maybe initially, like when I was younger, it was tough. At that point, it felt like work because everything was calculated. It was like I was thinking about what I needed to say next. I was like, how, like, and then there's all those confidence issues you had to get over and
So
all that
much,
kind of stuff,
so
right?
much, so much.
So I think that's more of the work, right?
Yeah.
Now at the point where I'm just comfortable in who I am, you don't have to. I don't have to work as hard because all the stuff that made me work was all insecurities.
Wait, so you don't feel like you pass out attention more than you should?
I think I enjoy that
You enjoy passing out attention?
more than receiving it.
I feel okay. So what? Okay. So the reason why I was thinking about this earlier today, and I don't want to take too much time, but the reason why I was thinking about this is because I was just thinking about like my interactions with people over the last like 2 years, and I'm just sitting here thinking like, damn, this thing, I should have recognized like this thing didn't work. Shouldn't have worked out because I'm passing out all the attention, and I'm getting 5% back. Or
That's with a specific person, though. Not
No, I'm just thinking like over. I'm looking at my stats,
Got you.
and I'm just like, oh shoot, am I doing more than I should be?
Do you still think that right
and
now?
that's why. Well, I was just thinking about it this morning. I had time to myself, so you see.
Fair enough.
So I'm just kind of chopping up the dice and just finding out, like, am I doing too much when beautiful people are just arriving?
Nah, I think it's more about realizing the value of what you're paying for. So what I'm saying is, like, so let's take attention and let's take personality and all that kind of stuff and put it into dollars. Okay, so say you're walking around with $100,000 worth of personality that you're giving out at all times, right? But if you're spending it on something that's worth $20,000, then yeah, you're wasting your money because you're devaluing that ability, right?
Right.
You need to start value. You need to stop looking at this $20,000 thing and making it worth $100,000. That doesn't mean that you need. That doesn't mean you have to stop using that $100,000. It means you need to elevate how you're valuing a person to make it worth $100,000. That's something that I had to learn. Mm-hmm. Where, you know, women that were maybe beautiful, like that had checked off all of these boxes,
right?
But the relationship itself wasn't very fruitful, or it wasn't very you know, there was just like issues, and it wasn't always happy and all this kind of stuff. It like on the outside it looked like $100,000, but in all actuality it was not $100,000. Whereas maybe the person doesn't on paper check all of the boxes in the sense of like how it looks, but the relationship itself, the interactions, the respect, all that kind of stuff is actually $100,000.
Now, question for you: how much do you spend before you say I'm gonna stop?
I don't think I have. Like, if I have to stop being myself, or I feel like I need to stop putting in energy and all this kind of stuff, I need to not be in that situation. Like, I don't want to have to change who I am.
No,
elevate
I don't mean like that,
or downgrade.
Right.
Because I want to be a certain way with women that I'm intimate with, or women that I'm interested in, all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. I don't want to have to be thinking like, am I doing too much? Am I not doing too much? If I have to start thinking, then to me, that's already a situation that I don't want to be in.
That's kind of what I was asking, because it's like, sometimes you could think yourself out of a good thing, right? Like, you can overthink.
Sure.
But then there are moments where it's like, am I overthinking this, or is this not right? You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's hard to decode, because I feel like increasingly people are becoming more and more difficult to read.
Well, I think it depends on, are you looking for external validation or internal validation? So what I mean by that is, you be the cookie, you be the detector. So how I used to be like, I need to play off this individual to get them, or all this kind of stuff. Now I'm just 100% me, and it either works or it doesn't. They get annoyed at me and they walk away. Oh, it doesn't work. They enjoy it, or they work hard to like continue it and all this kind of stuff. If they are annoyed by me, instead of just like being passive aggressive, all this kind of stuff, we talk about it, we have conversations, all this kind of stuff. Then I know that's gonna work. But I'm just gonna be me as the filter, instead of being like, I gotta change who I am to make this person like me. It's like, no, I'm gonna be this, and then we're gonna work together.
Well, I'm not really talking about changing yourself.
I'm
just asking like effort. I'm asking.
That's what I'm saying. But if your natural intuition is to give effort, by you saying I need to give less effort is in part you changing what you naturally do.
Well, is it not a scientific equation where like sometimes you may not have to do all that, and sometimes maybe you do have to do a little bit more than you normally would?
It depends on, are you doing it for a reaction, or are you doing it because you enjoy doing it? Because I do things because I enjoy doing it. It's no game anymore. I used to be back in the day. It's like, man, you don't understand how much game I got, bro. I'll be saying this and I'll be doing that and all this kind of. It was all game. But what happens with games?
You beat the boss.
There's a winner or a loser at a game. You know what I mean? Or the game eventually ends. You know what I mean?
You're right. The game gotta end.
But like, if it's just about
Beat the boss.
yeah, this dude has been playing Mario way too
Go to
much.
level
Right?
2.
Do you need my big brother to play for you?
And Bison's at the end, homie. Come on, man. So like, yeah, but that's what's changed about me. It's just like I'm gonna just be me, and it's either gonna fit or it's not. Like I'm either gonna. It's like Legos or Tetris or whatever. It's either gonna fit or it's not gonna fit. You know what I mean? And the right person, maybe it won't fit in the first, like initially, but that person will be willing to work with it and mold it and stuff like that. And to me, that's the person that I want to continue with, not the person that I gotta be like, dang. Am I doing too much? Am I not doing too much? Is she annoyed? You know what I mean? When I have to start thinking about it, to me, that's too much work.
You cut it right off. That's what I'm asking. The moment that you start thinking about like, man, sometimes you can overthink that. That's facts. Because I've definitely been in that position where I'm overthinking a situation, and then I turn around and just ask like, yo, this is what I'm thinking. Is this happening or not? And then they turn around and they're like, oh, no, I just, I don't know. I've been busy or whatever,
Yeah, but I also think that that's a good situation because that
is a good situation.
That person is willing to work with it, not necessarily like, because there's other people that be like, dang, you're needy, and you're like this, you're that, you know what I mean? That's what like, nah.
But are you needy? Is it okay to be needy?
I mean, to a person that doesn't have patience, no, you can't be needy. So that means that's not the right person for you.
It depends, like how needy are you?
I think the neediest people will find somebody for the right the right type of person
that needs to be needed.
Yeah, or like that has enough patience or that thing doesn't annoy them. The neediness doesn't annoy them, right? But they see past the neediness to all these things that they value heavily, so they'll deal with the needy.
Is anybody here needy?
I have been when I'm insecure.
Oh, so now you're equating neediness with insecurity.
I know you asked me, have I been needy? I said I have been needy when I was insecure.
What does that look like for you?
I needed constant external validation from my partner to make me feel comfortable.
Damn, you go to therapy?
No.
Oh, okay.
I just thought about it deeply.
Damn,
And I was like, damn, dude, you needy as fuck. You a pussy. What happened to all that confidence and swagger you used to have?
And I had to be ripping it out of you, bro.
Yo, Todd, you heard me stay silent on this one, right? I just want the cameras and the microphones to know Sunil stayed silent. Once again, his socials will be underneath the podcast.
I don't know what he's talking about. I just said a very kind thing, normal thing. Yikes.
I do not support rape culture.
Wait, what? That's not what I said.
What'd you say?
I said they rip it out, like they rip your confidence out of you.
Oh, I thought you said they
rip.
With an A instead of an I.
No, not rap.
You gonna make me edit this out? Because I really don't want to.
So you were saying you said you ripped it.
But I do have something that we're gonna edit out. I'm gonna go back to playing my music now. Todd, for the episode on YouTube, cut this out. All right, y'all. This is it right here. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Men on the Internet podcast. And tell the folks how they can hear us in the future.
Yeah, so on Tuesdays, we actually drop the audio. You can find it anywhere you listen to your podcast, whether that be Spotify, Apple, iTunes, whatever it is. Check that out. On Thursdays, we drop it on YouTube so you can see the visuals. All of us 5 to 7s, our beautiful faces with our nice personalities that makes us an solid 8 or 9. And then the biggest thing that we're looking for now is, we want to interact with you guys. We got all the socials. You could get us on IG. You could get us on Twitter. Our handles are MOI podcast or MOI Internet, I think.
It'll be in the description.
Yeah, we'll put them in the description. But definitely You know, we'd love to hear from you guys, what you guys think of our what we're saying on here. You know, definitely comment, slide in them DMs, tweet us, retweet us, whatever it is that you guys would want to hear from us. Make sure to let us know. We only know as much as you let us know, so let us know. Yeah.
What else? Anything else? Yeah, Todd.
Todd, is anything
What else?
else?
Anything else?
Also, I know last week we talked about, you know, for those of you that are into sports, I actually ended up starting my own YouTube channel that's geared towards sports. It's called So Real Sports Talk TV. It's a YouTube channel. Just posted up my first video that's breaking down the UFC 264 card. So, you know, please go there if you want to learn more about sports and interact with me through sports. I feel like I said sports a bunch of times, but
Gotta really hammer it in, bro.
yeah, had to. But you know, obviously we talked about, you know, we're doing some big things with the podcast, and so we wanna get a bigger reach, and that doesn't happen without you guys. So thank you for listening. Make sure to drop a like, a comment, share with your friends, and let us know what you're thinking.
It's always our pleasure to speak with you guys here on the Men on the Internet podcast. Until next time, I would love to hear from you guys. Hit us across all platforms, just like Sunil just said. And you all have a beautiful evening, a beautiful day, a wonderful hot boy, hot girl summer, and city boys are always up. Good night.